As I'm preparing biscuits this morning to make for my children and grandchildren, the first thing in preparation biscuits you want them to have some clean hands. So I'll wash my hands in preparation to get ready to make biscuits. And we'll get a paper towel, which is right then we preheat the oven to 450 degrees. So we turn that on, so we'll be sure to have it ready. And then I have a nice bowl here that I'll make my biscuits in. And we'll get the flour. It takes flour and shortening, and I usually always use Crisco whenever I possibly can, because that's just what I've always used, and it has always had success. So I guess I'll always continue to use Crisco biscuits. So I never measure, so I can't tell you how much flour to use. I just take my scoop and just put as much as I feel like we want to eat this morning. And so with this crew, I think it'll take a whole lot of biscuits. So I'm going to make a whole lot. So I think maybe that will be enough. And then let me get my buttermilk out to have it ready. I always use buttermilk because buttermilk makes a better biscuit also. Now this is Hazel Gurley's method. Now of course there may be better and more delicious biscuits, but my grandchildren, and they love their grandmother. They think grandmother can make good biscuits. Again, I do not measure. I just take my hand and get shortening. I guess maybe about that much will be like I use. And then I work my shortening into my flour very good. So it be distributed throughout the flour. You just have to excuse all the interruptions this morning. We've had a wonderful Christmas with two of my children, Glenn and Pamela. Michael couldn't come this Christmas, and we miss him so much. And Robin, those are the 3 extra adults we have in the house. And we have 5 beautiful grandchildren. We have Joe, Eric, Shannon, Christy, and Betsy. Shannon and Christy are spending the night with their other grandmother, who has a condominium down here at the beach, and they are spending the night there. But and Thursday night, Joe and Eric stayed over there. Well, I think that's mixed up just about right now. And again, like I said, I don't measure. I just take my buttermilk. I shake the buttermilk up to make sure all the milk is mixed together. And then you just kind of work the buttermilk in like this. And if it still don't feel like it's enough buttermilk in there, you always pour some more buttermilk in there. And then you work it in. You want to get everything moist just right. Now you don't want to over moist, or you don't want to get too dry. You just want to get it just right, and that takes time. So you just have to work with it. And just kind of go by the feel. That's what I go by. I got a little bit too much milk this time, so what I do, I just put a little more flour in with it. I make sure it gets worked in it first. Time I have to use my left hand because my right hand is busy, you see. Take it and work it. All mixed up real good. Usually when you're trying to do something for camera, you end up with a disaster, but I'm hoping that these will turn out fine. And the kids hope they'll turn out fine too, but this is one of their favorites. Kind of get all in the ball. If it's just right, it'll come away from the bowl. And then what I do, I just take my other hand and wipe my fingers off like this. And again, I go to the sink. It's always nice to have a sink right next by. Get all this off your hands. Now that's the first preparation of the biscuits. I got the first step done. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, could I get a sweet one?
I've got a white. Are you ready? I've got a white pastry cloth here that I use to roll my biscuits on. I work the. By the way, I use self-rising flour. I told you what kind of Crisco, what kind of buttermilk I use, but I use the self-rising flour, and it's always been red band flour. I'm not doing commercials now, but I'm just telling you what I have found out to work for me. And so I work the flour into the pastry cloth so that the biscuit dough won't stick. And then I'll take my biscuit dough and I'll just pour it out like that on it, and I'll get all the dough that clung to the bowl out. And then I take it and lightly. Now you don't want to do this real heavy-handed, but you want to light-handedly get your biscuits into a ball, knead them a little bit. On Thursday morning, I made biscuits for the grandchildren, and they all, Betsy and Shannon and Joe enjoyed rolling them out for me, but we won't do that today. We'll just do this, and then I take my rolling pin, and I start from the center and roll out like this toward the edge. Now roll, and you roll it till it gets about, if you like an average sized biscuit, you roll it out about between a 1/4 and a 1/2 inch thick. I like a thin biscuit because, of course, it doesn't have as many calories in it. But Paw Paw and Pam likes a thicker biscuit, and then Glenn just likes biscuits. He never has any express. Just so there's biscuits on the table. That's what Glenn likes. But all the kids like biscuits. And they love biscuits and chicken gravy, but I don't have any chicken gravy this morning, so they're gonna have to just settle for biscuits. I think that's about right. And then I'll wash my hands again. You get to wash your hands several times in making biscuits because I just don't like the dough all over my hands. But I like to use my hands because that's the only way I feel like that I can make biscuits. Now, a lot of people use the pastry blender and that, but I just use my hands. And then I take spray. I used to, for the time of the spray, I use just grease my pan with shortening, but I'm just going to spray it lightly with some spray. Okay. And then I have Grandmother's Gurley, old biscuit cutter that she used when she was rearing 11 children, and she let us have that. So this morning I think I'll use that and make some big biscuits for the children. I also have a smaller biscuit cutter, but I'll use the big one this morning. What I'm doing is I'm flouring my biscuit cutter so it won't stick, and then I cut the biscuits. This is how I do it. And as I cut them, I put them in the pan. Let me get the pans up here closer so that you can tell the pans have been used. They are have been used for a long time. Have you stopped cleaning? The kids, Pamela is busy packing her clothes. They get ready to leave this morning to go back to Charlotte. Pamela hadn't had a chance to take the walk on the beach, so she decided she wants to walk this morning also. Well, that's how I make biscuits, and then I turn the oven. I have preheated the oven to 450 degrees, and I'll place my biscuits in there, and you cook them about 10 to 12 minutes. And then I never time them. I usually just check on them, and whenever they get the right consistency of brownness, I'll just take them out the oven and see how they do. I have had a lot of success with biscuits, and then again I've had failure with biscuits, but it's just, I guess it's just sometimes how you end up, what mood you're in. Sometimes when I make biscuits, I'll make a tremendous amount. And you probably think I'm making a tremendous amount this morning, but I'm telling you, these biscuits will be consumed before the morning's over with. But when it's just Paw Paw and I here, I'll make a bunch of biscuits and I'll put them in the freezer, because you can make a bunch of biscuits as easy as you can make just a small amount of biscuits. So what I'll do, I'll make a lot of biscuits, and then I'll put them in the freezer. I'll just brown them. If I'm going to microwave them, when I take them out the freezer, I'll go ahead and brown them all the way. Before I got my microwave, I would just cook the biscuits just whenever they would begin to just start turning brown, and then I take them out the oven, and then I had a toaster oven, and I'd finish baking them in the toaster oven. But since we've had microwaves, if you want to use your microwave all the time, you can just go ahead and completely finish the biscuit, and then just put them in a plastic bag. And when you want a few biscuits at a time, you can just take out the amount you want and put them in the microwave. And a lot of times we like to put butter in them and put cheese, and then have a cheese biscuit for breakfast. That's good, but I think the kids could eat them anyway. And I enjoyed making biscuits for you this morning. We may have a cooking lesson. Wait, let me tell you what I do now. After I get all the main biscuits cut and all the little pieces left over, I'll go ahead and knead those back and knead them up real smooth. And then I'll roll this out and continue on making biscuits with this. But I use up every bit, and the last little bit that's left over, I'll just hand.
Hey, Mommy.
Go ahead, Granny.
Water's ready. They are ready. They are ready? Yeah.
And here goes the second batch. And
Daddy, this is Joe and Betty listening. Daddy.
Hold it there, Mama. Let me see it.
Well, anyway, we're gonna be getting there about